Wassail again. I just started this video, but I was interrupted by some people arriving who were two tattoo artists that live locally, and she's also a sound healer, so it was nice to meet them. But I'm back here with you to do another little rune read with the lovely Liffruma Healing Oracle deck. So I have to open the phone and get the page up. There we go, there's the titles. I started with one and I didn't really want to tell the story, and so it was interrupted. But it was going to be an interesting story. Freya and the wild ox, which is weird because in my head I was thinking of a boar all the way through what I was seeing. I wasn't seeing an ox. So the ox must come later in the story. Anyway, there's one down here. 29. Ugh. So what's the 29th title? Elven Times. Elven Times. So, this card is talking about a distant time. A distant time when elves were fully manifested in the physical, and now elves only come in light bodies. They've learned not to be part of the grip of the earth. The Elven Times. The Elven Times. It's exciting. Right, this has something to do with the beauty of life force. There's something to do with elves are incredibly powerful crafters, and they're very cunning. There's something here about every time they shifted, they were moving their life force with them. They were anchoring their life force wherever they lived in the physical world, partly as a protector frequency from the grip of the earth. Once they realized the kind of weight of that on their consciousness. That's interesting. So eventually this light force protector, it began to never come off them, so they just look brighter than the sun somehow when witnessed here. And they just said very loudly, and we're not orbs. We are not the orbs. We're not. So, Elven Times. They're giving things in pieces, and I feel like I need to build a block. There's something about an absence of time. Like the energy of their physical presence flickered away. And it is very much like a kind of energy of a butterfly's wings just kind of folding away into a dimension, but that it's not just one butterfly, it's like every cell having a tail energy, a signature behind it, and it just kind of folds into time and the veil. So that was an interesting block that came down very firmly, and in the air floating away from it separately is the fire. This is about renewing an inner elven light. It's an aether frequency, and maybe when the elves were here, maybe they were riding an aether. Maybe that's how they got their sigil with them all the time, their life force. And eventually it became the only space that they could live in. So we've got man. There's something about this card that comes across very often as a feedback loop on yourself and your place in the earth, your space. We've got leche. We've got this bleed on life force. We've got Nide. We've got the tune, the war tune, and then treadle, stepping out of this repeating painful loop. So there's something here where the elves, as a community, began to understand that all of their little tunings that they were trying to do to physical existence had done. I mean, I think it's that their peace was being distorted. They found and they made peace, and then their peace was distorted, and somehow they couldn't at first understand what was going on, and eventually somehow they learned that it was a cyclical time loop that goes higher and goes lower, but it never breaks free. And the elves learned somehow that by giving up a physical presence in this world, risking leaving the care of something very beloved to them in others' hands, was their only solution, and they had to step back into sacredness somehow. So the elves, Elven times. Anything else on Elven times? Ooh. You see, and then I got an energy of goblins. There's something. It's not. I'm getting the energy of some kind of non-fluidity between the elves and the goblins. I need to know more about that. It doesn't feel permanent, it just feels like something that's now. It's now. It's just part of a frequency being extruded to kind of open channels to witness something that's only throbbing because you won't let go of it. So their existence as elves was throbbing, and they wouldn't let go of it. Goblins are still here somehow. That's interesting. The elves are through in Elfamir, but the goblins are still here. Not that they're doing wrong, they're just still here. It's just a different thing. I feel like there's this energy of moving pain, which is actually being done in kind of unison by the elves and the goblins. But the discord is the different approach to to the resolution. Children of the resolution. Right, so where's this thread going then? What are the new Elven times? What are the new Elven times? Oh, they're saying unbinding you, the mystical you, from the mess that you are right now. I did a mess. But it's about rewiring a thought process and it being a connection between your brain and your sacral. Unbinding, rewiring, creating a new psychologically something new. I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, but there's something in here of a clear mind, of clarity. So I'm just going to ask, what is the frequency then of the new you? What is this frequency? Towardness. It's your future now. It's when you start to drink from another trough. The elves are kind of calling from that future realm. They're calling a thing, and that thing echoes throughout all time on that side of your time anchor, I guess. So, there's another little story, the Elven Times. I feel like the Elven Times could probably provide many stories, so I might not remove that title, but I already took out the previous one, so I can't read that again. I added a new one. Wassail, beautiful people.